Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rather Late program with your host, Dinsmore. So today's interview section of the talk show, we have a guest who is my friend Elliot, who is an actor, a voice actor at the moment in most of the stuff that I've been working on over the past couple of months. But there's no reason why I'm not going to force him into something live action eventually. All the roles. So, let's introduce him. So, Elliot, hi. How are you doing, man?
Hello. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, no, you're right. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. I have to say it's very generous of you to be casting me as literally every role.
It's quite something in it. I do it with everyone. Just come and do another role for me.
It's the definition of hitting the ground running, really.
Oh
I
yeah.
have no formal acting experience or training at all. And then you come along and I'm like, well, I've got to learn.
Let's do it, man. The thing is, with the voice projects, it's not that difficult at the moment. But when it gets to the live action stuff that we're gonna start filming in October, November, it's a very much learn how you go along. You know, I'm gonna be there so people can get advice if they need it. But it's pretty much all gonna be sort of my projects that I direct. I sort of prefer to not hire because I don't pay anyone, but sort of get my friends instead of professional actors, because that means I can have a laugh and have fun whilst doing all the hard work like producing and directing.
Of course, yeah.
And then when you're acting opposite your mate, it's a much for me, because when I'm acting, it's just much less nerve-wracking.
It's a more relaxing experience.
Yeah. I mean, I've been acting since I was 6 years old, and I've done a few bits and pieces here and there. But still, I started off in theatre, and it still gets to me. You know, you gotta work at it, man. But yeah, so I hire a lot of people, and then just hey, do this for me, and then do this one, and then oh hey, let's put you in that as well, and nobody will notice. Oh mate, I do love it. I refer to myself as B-Tech Ben Affleck. B-Tech Ben Affleck. And it's because Ben Affleck, from my knowledge, was the first actor that I knew who directed, wrote, produced, and acted in films at the same time. I knew Kenneth Branagh was an actor, director, and he produces sometimes, but I don't think he's a writer. Whereas Ben Affleck does the whole sort of ensemble thing. And I was when I first did my live action film, and everyone was like, you're writing, directing, producing, and starring, and I was like, yeah. And they're like, man, good luck. And I'm like, nah, it's all good, I'm B-Tech Ben Affleck.
There's a gap in the market for someone with so many talents.
Oh yeah. It's the thing is with my sort of stuff that I'm doing, because I'm doing multiple sort of jobs, it's not many people will think that you're good at whatever, because it's like if you do one thing, then they'll know you're good at that job. But if you're doing everything, it's like you're a jack of all trades but master at none of them.
Exactly what
you know.
So
I do get a bit like that sometimes, but the people who do give me offers and sort of take me to heart is just really appreciative, you know. But yeah, so the funny thing about calling myself BTEC Ben Affleck is the fact that I'm now working on a mini-series, and now I've got 4 audio films spun off from that mini-series. And the 4 audio films are going to be like a sort of following the main character, which is Charles McLance Saltire, through this journey that he's going on. And the thing is, I found whilst writing it, he's a bit like Ben Affleck's Batman. He's a bit depressed, and he's a bit done, and you know, he's already had life experience and he's just had enough. So once I was reading back through the script that I finished yesterday, I was just like, hang on a minute, I'm going to be Ben Affleck times 2, because it's directing, writing, producing, acting, but also the fact that the character's basically Ben Affleck's Batman. And the fact that I'm using a voice modulator for the superhero role of that character.
Oh, really?
And it's just like, I'm not sure if I sent it to you, but it just like sounds so deep.
Yes, you did.
It's so funny, mate.
What
honestly.
software is that?
I downloaded an app, mate. It's just an app called Voice Modulator on the App Store, and I just got that, and it's quality, mate.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, go for it, mate. It's quality. The thing is, it's like it's got a Batman voice as well modulator. But that's not the one I used. I used a different one because the Batman voice modulator is too fucking low, and you can't really hear the pronunciation of words with a Scottish accent.
Oh, I see. Of course, yes.
So it's just like, rah, 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 and you're like, come on, man.
There's no point if you can't get the subtleties of the Scots.
Exactly. So I think I used a different setting, which is like, it had a devil face, so it was... It's demonic, it's still deep, but it's like you can hear the lilt in the accent and stuff like that, so you can still hear the sort of the way I say certain words, you know. But yeah, so let's quickly move aside from my sort of rambling on about films and stuff, and let's quickly talk about how we met. So.
Well, we haven't yet.
Not yet, not in person. But we're both part of a drama society.
Yes.
Called the stupidest name in the world, Dat Arse.
It's creative, let's put it that way.
It's creative, but I tend to think of myself as a man with standards. You put on the posh English for that.
I talk a big game about wanting to remain dignified, but then I can't help but make a fool of myself. So that ass it is.
That ass it is. Oh yeah. That name, man. That name. Anyways, so I joined in about mid-March, and I was supposedly going to one of the meetings, the first meetings, and then realised that my mates were going to the pub, so I went to the pub instead. But then the weekend after, oh mate, honestly, but the weekend after, I came back home because it was lockdown. So I came back home to my parents, and I was just like, so I missed the week that could have been the first and last time to meet these people. But then, lockdown happened, and we had these video calls, and, I sort of got to know people over that. But yeah, and then later on, I sort of had a jury service, so I went up to Kingston, met some of the group. But yeah, no, I haven't met you yet, so when I get back on Sunday the 13th, which is only a couple of days away, we'll have to meet up and do something, man.
Tear up the town.
Tear up the town. Using the demonic voice modulator. Just pretending you're Batman.
Oh, yeah, we'll become vigilantes in Kingston.
Yes. Become our characters in this superhero show.
I can't wait.
Honestly, mate. If you could give yourself like a vigilante superhero name, what would you call yourself, man? Like, I mean,
we've been through this conversation with trying to come up with your villain names, and I think I failed to come up with anything.
It's so shit, man. I think in the end I used Mind Grip.
Okay.
So I sent that to the actor, and he was like, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So I was like, okay, he can deal with that.
I'll have to give that some thought and get back to you.
For sure.
A good answer.
For sure.
I can't have a joke answer. This might become reality.
This might become reality. Yes, we're going through Kingston trying to be vigilantes, but end up just drinking on the roof of a building.
Yeah.
Just
people at Weatherspoons, they look up, they see two figures dart across the rooftop.
Yeah. In curtains, pretending they're capes. Stand up, but the funny thing is, like, we'd stand up on top of the mill or something, but then end up falling over and landing in the Thames.
That'd be awesome. It would be like John Barrowman in Torchwood, any rooftop.
Oh yes, mate, yes. John Barrowman on any rooftop. But the thing is with him, he'd just get up and walk off, whereas we'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Oh mate, honestly. Oh, what a night that would be though. Land in the Thames, sailing down to Richmond, or Central, whichever way the current's flowing that day.
We need a villain to fight. That's what we need. That's what makes a hero.
A villain. Who's gonna be mate?
Or maybe we start off as allies, but one of us turns to the dark side.
Yeah. One of us turns evil. It's Batman versus Superman, bro. It's just like, you've got to be stopped. You've got to be stopped. Have you seen on YouTube the How It Should Have Ended animation stuff?
I've seen some of them. I don't think I've seen the one for Batman v Superman.
Okay, well, there's a in at the end of most of them, they go to the cafe and it's with Batman and Superman every time.
Yes, of course.
And in the Batman versus Superman one, there's like, Superman's ranting on about something, but then Batman stands up and he's like, "Shut up, it's my time!" And then he changes costume immediately into his Batman vs Superman costume, and he's like, "You've got to be stopped," or some shit like that. And he's like, "What the hell? What's happened to you? You're too evil to be left alive," or whatever. And Superman's like, "But can we still have our coffee meetings? I really like talking to you." And he's like, yeah, me too. It's just like shit like that. It's just,
that's exactly what it'll be.
It's just like, yeah, you've got to be stopped. Oh yeah, I thought you'd never ask. Oh, I do love shit like that. So
sidetracked.
tangents. So getting into it. Basically, you're sort of, when you're working on my projects, I sort of list you as an actor. So, apart from my stuff, like what made you want to join that ass in the first place? What made you attracted to a drama society?
That is a good question. I'm not sure, I must say. I think a big part of it was just a desire to socialise more than I had the previous year.
Sure.
Join various societies, but why that one in particular? It's difficult to say. I have sort of a real fascination with storytelling.
Sure.
Like, I don't know what it is about the way a story is constructed and whether it whether it succeeds at being popular.
Yeah.
How, to what degree does that depend on?
Yeah.
on the writing, if you see what I mean, like.
Yeah, I get you. I think
the idea of there being these sort of mythemes, like the same character arcs occurring in all stories over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, what does that? Why are those particular character archetypes and stories so interesting to us as people? Why are those popular? It's a fascinating question to me, and so I know the Drama Society was just sort of a natural consequence of that fascination, I guess.
Sure, fair enough. So in terms of Drama Society stuff, because I still haven't gone to a proper meeting yet, what goes down in them? What do you do in those meetings? Do you chat about stuff, or do you actually perform, or do you go from film to theatre and sort of remake classics, or what do you do?
Well, I've only done it for a year, so I can only tell you about my experience. But essentially, it was just we'd get together, we'd do some chatting, and then we'd play some just various games. And do some improv, and that was mostly all we did. Occasionally, the committee would bring in some scripts, and we'd try and prepare those in we'd have 20 minutes to prepare the scene.
Sure.
And we'd act that out. But no, we never really did any big projects apart from the cabaret, which
is at the end of every year, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure.
That's my understanding. That was a lot of fun. That was a big big evening.
Yeah, I was sort of 50-50 confused on that, because what's it? I mean, for me it's a drama society, so I thought it would have been mainly acting, but from what I've seen, it's like people are doing songs and stuff, which is fair enough. Like acting, singing, dancing, that's the triple threat. But it's like, if it's a drama society, people are singing and people are... I don't get it, man.
I mean, that's a fair criticism, I must say. It's a bit sort of hodgepodge. No offence to the previous committee members.
Sure.
They kept it going, and it essentially just became a circle of friends doing whatever they pleased.
Sure. I mean, there's no problem with it. I was just like, change the name if that's the case. It's like, it's not a drama society, is it? It's like sort of more of an arts society, because it's.
You think we're misbranding ourselves?
Well, potentially. I mean, I don't tend to assume I don't know. I don't tend to assume your label, but fucking. If it's a drama society, I just think it should be drama related. But if it's like music and dancing as well, then it should be the whole thing. It should be the arts. It's I know people in it who are drawers. I know people in it who are singers. I know people who act. I know someone who, apart from myself, who is a writer in it. It's just sort of like. Make it the arts group, it's like I don't know, man. It's just one of the things with me. I'm just like arguing on a point.
No, I guess I agree with you. Really, it's a good point. A lot of the stuff we do, I mean, we have various interests, but what we do as part of the society is mostly just improv games. I found it a good way to sort of develop screen or stage presence, as it were.
Sure.
Just to sort of push myself towards extroversion a little bit.
Sure. The thing is with me, it's like, I mean, what? I only joined in March this society because of the fact that during February and the start of March, I was in the middle of a musical. So so I was doing theatre, and when I've got jobs like theatre or film or TV, and I'm going between all three or whatever, it's a bit hard to be a part of a drama society which is full time. So it's like, for me, I feel like I'm going to be in and out every now and then. You know, like I'll go in on a week and then disappear for a week, and then come back for 2 weeks, disappear for a week. You know, just depends on what I'm doing.
Members who are like that, yeah.
Yeah.
No worries.
It's like a floating member, I suppose. It just depends on whatever I'm doing that term. You know, if I'm working on a film, then yeah, I can come in on a Friday night, because films for me will differ dates. But like,
you don't want to know what I thought of when you said floating member.
just shut up, man. Fuck.
Some sort of horrific ghost story.
Oh, bro, fucking hell. But yeah, you know, but if it's theatre, it's harder to be a part of, which is why I've enjoyed being part of the sort of the video calls during this lockdown, because I've gotten to know people over the phone without necessarily having to go to these meetings, because it's lockdown, but because if I'm doing theatre or whatever, then I won't be there anyway. So doing the video calls is a nice way to sort of try to meet people, sort of. But
it's a very unique position that you're in.
Yeah, and I'm special, and I feel special for that. But yeah, and then when I came up for a couple of weeks to do my jury service, meeting some of the group was just lightning for me, you know, because I'd spent 5 months, I think, on the phone with these guys, thinking that I've known them my whole life, but now I've only met them for the first time. So it's a bit like, oh, I know you. But actually, I've never met you before in my life. You know what I'm? Yeah. You know what I'm?
Wonders of technology.
It's it's crazy, but yeah, no, I do love it. It's also weird to me because it's like I found out that not what bloody hell, if I forget their names I'm going dead, but it's Vince and Christina especially. It's like apparently they didn't really speak much before I came along. Like they had a couple of conversations and that was about it. And now I've joined this group and sort of made everyone, well, not that I'm claiming it was me, but sort of
it was.
Thanks, man. But everyone's coming a bit closer, you know, and sort of you
threw a spanner in the works.
Yeah,
and things up a bit.
Yeah, spice things up, and you know, now Christina and Vince are meeting up every week and having chats and drinking. You know, fucking, it's nice from the outside when you're like, oh, I've gotten people to be closer together, but then it's great when you can be part of that when you're there, and it's like, yeah, it's like, you know, I've gotten. For me, it's like I've gotten a big sister and a big brother now. You know, it's sort of like we're sort of a trio whenever we fuck about. But it's crazy.
That's strangely wholesome.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? It's really weird, but it's really nice. You know, it's fun, and Vince has my humour. You know, it's fun because my humour is very specific.
We've never quite worked out exactly what that humour is. The second person around you has it. Maybe we'll put our finger on that.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I've noticed Vince has my humour, and I've noticed it's very it's sort of like it's self-deprecating, but it's also, you know, sort of like stiff upper person looking down on others, you know. It's sort of it's just like, oh yes, we're British, screw you Yanks, or whatever. No offense to any Americans listening, but it's sort of like that, isn't it? It's like you know, me and I showed Vince this video of this comedian John Oliver, and it was like his opening line to this group of Americans in New York was let's see, it was like Yes, I will be speaking to you with a British accent tonight, which means you're going to get a lot more authority than you would have thought. And you could have spoken like this. All you had to do was not throw our fucking tea into Boston Harbour.
Yeah.
But you couldn't do it. So it was sort of like, that's my sort of humour. It's like, British humour is sort of my thing, but it's also like self-deprecating humour.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I feel like that's... I can't do this. I can't say British humour is the best humour, because whenever I do, Christina tears me a new one. So,
but
I'm not going to say it, but yeah, I appreciate that.
I will say it. British humour is the best humour. And she can't kill me, because she promised not to. I am too cute to be destroyed. Oh, I'm gonna regret saying that.
Yeah, don't worry, she won't listen to this.
No, of course not. No one does. It's always me and the guest of that podcast, and that's it.
Oh yeah, I'll listen to it, definitely.
Oh Jesus. But yeah, so yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy that I've found this group of people, which is like a sort of oddball sort of mad family, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I found out that, you know, it's like it's just a weird mix. That's all I'm gonna say.
It is very strange, and you've not even met everyone yet.
I've not met everyone. No, when meetings resume, I guess I will meet more people. But you know, for now, my little sort of group family that this is sort of, you know, it's sort of Vince, Christina, Gabby. I think I've Bobby once. I met Bobby once or twice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird mix. It fucking is, because God knows the first night was very weird.
Was it?
For me it was weird. But then again, they were like, "Oh, we've been very chill tonight. You should be happy." And I'm like, "Wait, this is chill." this is chill. What the hell? So it's like, it was weird, because it's like, you know, there's everyone chatting in the garden, and then 5 minutes later, me and Vince are having a therapy session in his living room with each other.
Yeah.
And then you have a mini breakdown with each other, and you're like,
saw the pictures.
Crying into each other's arms. And you're like, hang on a minute, how did we get from here? You know.
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Man, honestly. It's crazy. But you gotta love them, because they're mad fuckers. And I need friends. So that's the main part. I need friends. Oh Jesus. So that aside, so we've done that ass basically. So what I'm wanting next is to move on to the sort of topic of voice versing, sort of voice roles versus live action, because you haven't done live action yet with me, but it's like I am casting you in a role for live action soon enough. But what do you sort of prefer doing? Do you prefer bringing a voice to life, or do you prefer physical acting?
That's a good question. It's got to be a rather sort of unsatisfying I don't know. Because most of the voice work I've done was for you.
Yes.
And I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's
outside of like working with you and the Drama Society, I think the only time I really put any acting skills to work is I play like a few role-playing games. I play Dungeons and Dragons, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Familiar. So that requires, that's a bit taxing. You know, that requires me to do my best to bring a lot of different characters to life in whatever way I can.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that involves a bit of physicality to the role.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I've done a few live action projects. There was one I filmed with Christina.
Uh-huh.
That I can't say my performance was excellent.
Sure.
Otherwise, I had a couple of roles on stage at the cabaret, which I enjoyed that, and I think I did quite well in those.
Sure.
I know. I think voice acting is slightly easier, potentially.
It is, because you're not... The thing is with voice acting, in my sort of humble opinion, is well, for me, the fact that you don't have to rehearse lines or anything, you don't need to memorize your lines. And I mean, you don't necessarily have to learn the whole script off by heart for TV or film, but it helps, getting the job done, because otherwise they're not going to hire you again. However, in theatre, it's a necessity that you know how to fucking memorize your lines. Which is why I do theatre at least once a year, because then I keep the memory game strong, If
you keep those skills sharp.
Yeah, I try and do theatre once a year for about a month, maybe longer, just to see if I can keep it there, And if
What sort of stuff do you do?
Well, I've done a lot, mate. Mainly musicals, because my musical background is musical theatre. So I started off as a musician. I did piano and drums, and then started singing a bit later. And then musical theatre is where I started off, and then I branched out into spoken play. Then I got a TV producer who saw me in a play, and then brought me to TV, and then I've been on film. But yeah, so I'm doing the whole sort of thing, but it's like theatre and short film main character, but then TV, guest appearance or co-star or extra, film extra. So it's just like, unless I'm doing my own projects, then I'm probably going to be lesser down the list. But it's great doing that sort of stuff. It gives you good experience, and it's great to say you've been part of that show or that film.
It works as stepping stones to
Oh yeah. It gets your name out there as well. And it's going to build up the IMDb, which is great. But yeah, so what this year I did a musical called Once for the third time, which I did in February through March, and then the year before that I did the play The Tempest, and I've done Macbeth a couple of times.
Oh, very nice.
I do love Macbeth, but when I'm in
Of course you do.
Oh, yeah. It's there's no particular reason, but because the thing is with Macbeth, it's written for an English audience because it's Old English.
Right.
But it's set in Scotland, so you've got to do it with a Scottish accent. However, the writing is for an English character.
Yeah.
So it is quite hard to perform when you know it's for a different voice, but you've got to do it in a particular voice that they want you to do it. However, whenever I do Macbeth, I love it because I normally play Macduff, because Macbeth has way too many monologues to remember. Right. I did it once, and like at the end of the week's show that we did, I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm crying, That's it for me. But yeah, doing Macduff is much better because he's a main character, but he's got a smaller role than Macbeth, and it's rare that you get to say that you played a character that kills the title character.
Yeah, of course.
It's so I do love playing Macduff simply because of the fact that you can say, haha, I killed the main character in his own play, which is great. It's oddly satisfying to say. It's just like, haha, fuck you.
Doing Shakespeare must be like quite a...
Oh, it's bloody tough, mate.
experience.
It's bloody tough and it's bloody difficult. Oh, if I'm doing Shakespeare, I'm only doing it for a month max. Like, no more. No more. I'm leaving the role early. It's a limited run for me. But
you know, as an actor, I imagine like that's what you aspire to, is, you know, to get to where the greats have been.
oh yeah, of course. It's still, you know, it's still a live stream to get to the globe. You like,
Yeah.
like in my mind, I mean, it's just like you're not. I mean, not that you're not a true actor, but it's like when you get to the globe, you've made it in the theatre world. Like once you're at the globe, you're there, you're done. Everything else is just a bonus, you know.
But of course, you're also a writer, so
I'm everything,
Shakespeare must
man.
if not an influence, then at least a hero.
Oh yeah, Shakespeare's always up there. My writing heroes have got to be Shakespeare. I love Dickens. You know,
Moffat, all the greats.
Moffat, yeah, sure, Moffat, sure, Moffat. R.T. Davis was alright, Russell T. Davis was alright. But Robert Burns, you know, sort of the great classics like them. But yeah, I also love the writing style of J.K. Rowling. You know, different type of people and writers, but yeah, the thing is, like, it's weird for me. I'm primarily an actor and musician, more so an actor now because I do less music as I've gotten older, even though I try and keep it about, but acting is the sort of main thing at the moment. But then I started writing because I have these stories in my head and I want to get out there, so I write the stories. But then it's the curse of, you write the story, but only you know how you want it, so I have to direct it. So you have to direct your own film, otherwise it's just like, it's pointless, because someone else's director's vision will change that. And then once you direct it, it's like you might as well put yourself as the main character, and then you seem to have the producing job thrust upon you at the same time. So it's all crazy, man. But
you know, to the outside that would appear like ego, but really it's more, I suppose, the desire.
It's the desire to create. Yeah, it's the desire to create. It's I have a passion to do this story, and I'm going to do everything in my power to put this story out there. So whether that's just being a writer and an actor, or whether that's I'm going to have to compose the music for the film as well, or directing, or producing as well, that's just part of the job that you're like, you know what, I really want this story out there, so I'm going to do it no matter what. So it is tough, but it's what I say is if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it, and I do love it even if it kills me, you know.
No, I can appreciate that. I think it takes a special kind of talent to write. Well, not necessarily to come up with a story, but to write a story. Now that's something that is beyond me. Like, I can come up with vague character outlines.
Yeah, if you've got a story, then the story's not that hard to come up with, I don't think. But then the dialogue and the storyline is the tough
That's
bit.
Exactly it. Script writing is just beyond me.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough, but it's rewarding once you get it done, you know.
I would give it a try.
Yeah, you should, man.
But if I am ever stuck, I'll turn to you for some pointers.
Of course, mate. You know what? I'll get you to write an episode of this of a show, and then you know you can test out your thing.
Oh yeah.
I'll get
that'd be fantastic. I mean,
yeah, I'll get you to do a special, man. You can so. You know, it'll be something like you can, if you want, you can come up with the teleplay, and then we can work on story together, or you can run off on your own little thing using the characters. It's we'll do something, man. We'll get it done. We'll get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's almost the end of our little time together, unfortunately. So
No.
I know it goes so fast now because originally it was a couple of hours. But I've decided to cut it shorter, just so that people don't leave halfway through.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because when you go on like the YouTube like statistics page for your channel, does it say that people tend to leave around this mark?
Well, it's like you get a couple of the viewers who tune in and out, and then you get a couple of people who listen right the way through, and that happens to be me and that guest. Like I did a talk show the other day, which I uploaded on Sunday night, and I was like, "Hey Vince, this is out," and he went and checked it out because he was the guest, and it's just like, sweet. So it's you and the guest, but then everyone else is like, "Yeah, sure, I'll get around to it eventually," which is fair enough. I mean, it's just a fun thing for me to do. But yeah, no, I do enjoy doing this talk show now because we've changed it up, and it's got a live action cold open and a monologue, and then it goes into this podcasty middle bit, and then at the end I come back for a little closing statement.
The tangents are practically part of the formula now.
Oh yeah, it's great. Tangents is what this shows should be called. But there we go. So, to the people who want to listen to 2 hours of ranting with my voice, you should go and check out Topical Madness with Vince and Seb. Me and Vince will rant about anything for a couple of hours. But this has been the Rather Late programme, which is more of a talk show, and it has more of a specific line to it, which is talking about the guests' projects and what they do. So, thanks to our guest Elliot for coming on.
You're most welcome.
See you soon, everybody.